I was prepared for this. I did say it was going to be an expensive month, and I was right. However, I underestimated this one. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video and a monthly no-buy update. That seemed to be something that you said you'd be interested in seeing. It hadn't been my original plan, but if these updates are what you want to see, then I will of course deliver, and you will see the good, the bad and the ugly. I'm not going to hide away. I am going to be perfectly transparent about my better months as well as my bad ones. However, bad might be the wrong term. It really depends how you look at it. I would say bad indicates wasteful spending. I have spent a lot of money this month, and when I mean that, I mean non-essential spending, but I'm not too sure I would consider it a waste. So we're gonna jump in and analyze this month's spending. So to give you a figure for last month, at the end of January, we totaled up £359.77 for non-essential spending. February is significantly higher. And as I've mentioned before, my key word for this no-buy is adaptive. We are changing the rules every single month, as in we are adapting to our worst areas of spending in order to teach ourselves long-lasting and positive spending habits. The no-buy rules I set myself for February were, and this was either because I didn't foresee any spending in these areas, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't loosen the reins and sort of give myself free spend in these areas that were completely unnecessary, or because I felt like we needed to tighten the screws a little bit. So my no spend areas were beauty appointments, skincare, hair care, makeup and gym clothes. I hit 4 out of 5 completely. Those were beauty appointments, skincare, hair care and gym clothes. I didn't buy anything at all within those rules. So I think we can say that that was very successful. In terms of makeup, I did have a sneaky brow pen run out on me. I thought there was more left in it than there was, and it's one that's not in any sort of transparent case, so it's hard to tell. And it did just run out, and so that was just a replacement. And I also replaced my eyebrow gel whilst I was at it and ended up spending £19 on makeup altogether. They were just complete replacements for products I already have and know that work for me. So I don't consider that wasteful, even though it did go against one of my rules. Arguably, I could have just gone without doing my brows for the remainder of the month, but that felt like a bit too much of an unnecessary thing to do. It wasn't like I was branching out and exploring new products that may or may not work for me. And because I have such a small makeup collection, it's not like I had another brow product that I could then go and use instead. I only have the one, and so I was left with nothing when that pen ran out. And then for February also, I had a low buy on eating out. So I knew that I was going down south to see my boyfriend for 5 days, and so I knew there was a good chance that we were going to be eating out, and we kind of split the cost, but not split the cost for a meal, if that makes sense. So if he gets one, I get the other, and something like that, rather than us trying to split it on the day, and we don't worry too much about the differences. And I only ended up paying for one meal eating out for the whole of February. So all in all, I think one meal is absolutely fine for a low buy. However, spending did take place in February, and there was a lot of it, but I think most of it will be made very clear as to why this number is so high. And I am using my non-essential spending tracker in my journal. So first on the list was fast food. I said at the very start of the year that I wanted to significantly cut down on fast food, but I think it's very unsustainable and you're more likely to slip up if you absolutely forbid it forever. And so I said I would limit myself to one visit to whatever fast food place I wanted once per month, whether that's Chippy or takeout pizza or Mackey's. Usually for me it's Mackey's, and that was the case. I did allow myself one visit to Mackey's whilst I was out and about, and so that cost me £7.18, and I was happy that I got to enjoy that as a treat, and at the same time I only did it once in the month. My next spend was on horse riding. I had 2 horse riding lessons And in February, I've booked one for next week. So I technically paid for it in February, but it'll be a March lesson. So that's quite nice that that won't be on my accounts to pay for that one in March. So because that's 3 lessons, that's £91.50 spent on horse riding lessons. As I've already mentioned, I didn't have any beauty appointments. I gave myself the freedom of working on my capsule wardrobe this month. So we knew this was going to be spendy if I found the things I wanted. The reason behind this was that I've been struggling with my workwear quite a little bit, making outfits that are suitable for sort of this coming out of winter, but it's still being quite chilly period of time. And so I've bought a few items and I honestly feel like I've done a great job with it. I didn't buy too many pieces, but I've bought enough that they all coordinate with items I already had. So for example, if I'm buying one pair of trousers, that's not just creating me one outfit like it might do in somebody else's wardrobe. That can go with maybe 4 different shirts. So that one pair of trousers can be now styled with 4 different shirts. And then when you incorporate things like jumpers and blazers and different layers and different accessories, there's so many different ways I can style that. So I did spend £228.81 on clothes, and out of that I got a shirt, 2 blouses and 2 pairs of trousers. I then also treated myself a little bit. This one was a bit naughty. It was one I specifically put a no buy rule on in January because I've been looking and looking and looking at these same things, really wanting them for quite a long time. It was before Christmas I was looking and I knew I had to put myself on a restriction in January. I decided I would treat myself to these as well as part of bringing my wardrobe together and really making it something I can love. And so I bought myself this necklace and these earrings which kind of match. They've both got like this pearl detailing. They're not real pearls, they are mother of pearl, and that I am really happy with. But that did cost me £115. We've then got eating out, which I've said. We went out once where I was the person that paid, and that was for 2 of us, and that cost £55.66. For experiences, I need to do a thank you for this one. Some of you may remember in one of my Vlogmas videos I mentioned that in 2024 I want to try and travel around as many of the counties of England as possible. I even have a little map where I'm tracking it in the front here. The blue ones are the ones I've done this year, so I've only done 3. But I asked for any places you would suggest visiting in that vlog, and Sam Jones recommended a wine tour and tasting in Surrey, which I decided to take my boyfriend to as a alternative to a Valentine's Day present. We decided we wouldn't do presents, we would do things together instead. And he loves wine, he is very big on wine and sort of knowing all about it. I don't drink, so I was clueless. So we're going on this tour and he's talking to the tour guide and he can actually talk to him about the bouquet, the fragrance and all of these other things, and I'm just standing there like, I'll have a sip, and great. But it was great for him. He loved it. As a non-drinker, I'm sure I looked ridiculous, but I went along anyway for the fun of it. So thank you, Sam, for that recommendation. We did actually have a really good time whilst we were there in Surrey, and that cost me £33 for the 2 of us, and that was all I spent on experiences. So all in all, that was great. Travel. We'll come back to travel. It's next on my list, but we'll come back to it because it's a big one. Hobbies, I spent £5.65. That's just because I needed a riding whip. Other beauty, I've already mentioned, that was makeup, that was £19. And gifts, I've spent £21.66. So, travel. Well, first of all, I booked and paid for flights and insurance for my trip in Easter. And I did that right at the start of February. It was like the 1st or the 2nd or something. And, oh, where is my breakdown for what that cost individually? So that was £145 for flights and insurance. So I already know for, not March, for April, we've booked our hotels that we pay when we get there. So March should be free of travel expense, but then April I will have the rest of that to pay plus money to take there, so I'll need to get some euros. So we're going to France, and I'm going to try and pull in a day trip to Monaco whilst we are there. But that doesn't account for this very large number, and that is because I have planned a holiday for the summer, but I'm going to keep that one under wraps for a while. But I did pay a sort of larger sum for that, not massive for a holiday, but a larger sum of £686. So that will be my third trip of the year. It will be my third overseas trip of the year, and it is more of a bigger trip, if you like, whereas the one to Italy and this one to France have just been a few days, and I'm really excited about it. Another one of my goals for 2024 was to go abroad 3 times, so those will be my 3 trips. And to be fair, in all likelihood, that will be my last holiday of the year. I think it will be those 3. I think after the summer, as we start winding down, sort of getting ready for Christmas, I sort of take that as slowing down time, ready for Christmas. So this time of year, you know, I'm excited to get out, go traveling, go places, same all the way through the summer. And I think after that, I will probably start to want to wind down. So it may be less likely that I want to go on holiday. I'm not absolutely restricting it. I do get a week off in October. So if I would like to go away, I'm not going to say that I can't. I just think it is likely that these will be my 3 and that will be it. So altogether on travel this month, I spent £855.59. You may be wondering about that 59 because both of those 2 numbers I just gave you were whole pound numbers. There's a bit of parking in there as well. And that is everything I spent non-essential spending for February, for a grand total of £1,423.05. Now, I remember last year when I had a no-buy video that I did, and that was £700 non-essential spending for the quarter. And I remember going, that is awful. That's so much. That is so high. And a lot of people in the comments were like, yeah, that's high. And I'm just thinking that is a month, isn't it? That is a spendy month. So hopefully next month, March, I will sit here and this number is going to be very, very low. Very low. There were 2 other things, not non-essential spending, but just 2 other things I said I wanted to keep an eye on, and those were petrol and grocery. So I'm very unprepared. I've not added them together. So for petrol, we have spent £181.56, which my car is very good on petrol, I must admit, but that's not bad considering I drove down to Hampshire. From Hampshire, I went into Wiltshire, I went to Dorset, and I went to Surrey, and then I drove back up to the Midlands. So that's not been too bad. But I guess you could account for quite a bit of that petrol was instead of me driving to and from work and the gym every day. So it kind of balances out. As a month goes, it wasn't actually that much different to previous months. We have then got grocery, which was, again, this is me trying to keep my grocery bill nice and low, but again, also a reminder that I was away for a week and I only paid for one of those meals out all week. So I feel like that's a little win there. I spent £147.28 on my groceries in February. And just a reminder, that is only me. I do live alone. That would be my food for my meals for the week, my pack up for work, and then things like cleaning supplies and your basic toiletries that you would get in a supermarket. But again, that is just me. I live on my own. There is only me to worry about. And so all that leaves us to do is set up our no-buy rules for March. And I said we are going in with a strict month. I am in need of a strict month after that. And so, no buy. These are the ones. Clothes and accessories, not a single one. This time next month, I am going to be sat here. I am going to be sat here and saying 0. I did not buy any clothes or accessories or anything like that. Likewise with beauty, that's hair care, skin care, makeup, 0. again, we are not buying anything. We won't need to. Also, I am finding, I'm not really proving a point now because I put makeup on to film this video. I am finding I'm wearing far less makeup since I've been taking the medication for my skin. The only makeup I'm doing for work is my brows and then like a lipstick or a lip balm, and that is it. I'm not putting any sort of like face makeup on for work, which is making my morning so much quicker, but it's because I feel comfortable and confident to do that now. I'm not saying my skin is perfect, but it is so much better. So we're getting there on that. We are getting there. And then the only other thing I've put no by is travel, because I think that is necessary. But I can do that also because I don't foresee any travel occurring beyond like driving to places. Even the things I've got in my head that I know I'm already doing, which are all experiences, which I'm okay with, I don't think I even have to pay for parking at any of those places. So it is really just a little bit extra in petrol, which I already track separately anyway. So I don't think I should have any travel expenses, so that should bring it down. I'm giving myself beauty appointments this month because I didn't last month and my nails are growing off my hands. So it would be nice to get those done again, but that is the only one. So just nails, and that usually costs around £35. So I should be sitting here next month. That'll either be a zero because I didn't get them done, or about £35 and no more. And then hobbies, again, I don't see myself buying anything extra for riding or anything like that. So I think, all in all, those are the necessary rules. And then in the low buy area, I've just put eating out again, just to be sensible with it. I'm not going to forbid it. It's an enjoyable thing to do. It's getting out, it's socializing. It's not like I'm buying stuff and bringing it into my space and sort of regretful spending in that way. It's nice to spend time with people that are important to me. If, again, that could be one time that I eat out, I think that's reasonable. But it is early in the month, so if it becomes known to me that there may be 2 occasions where someone's asked me to put a date in my diary for March, then I think what I've just got to bear in mind is that I'm more sensible at either of those occasions. So rather than going all out, maybe I'll have tap water, have a smaller meal, not have a dessert, whatever it is that sort of keeps that more realistic. So I think that's it for the February going into March update. I really hope that March is a lower spend month, but we will see. And that is it. As always, make sure you update me with how you're doing down below in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. It just really helps me out. And I will catch you again in another video very soon. If you're not yet subscribed, you can do so by clicking this picture here. And if you're sticking around for another video, I will pop one right here that I think you might enjoy. Until next time, take care. Bye.